Yeah, I didn't finish it though.
Oh, that's cool. We just let it rock for a minute. Hey, hey. Let's take this down. Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, man. A little something to jam to.
Right. So, yeah, welcome to, well, I can't say another because I guess I'm starting a new podcast.
Hey, wow.
I was doing a podcast with my brother a while ago.
Yeah.
For some of the people who saw it. Yep. And we took a little break, well, a long hiatus. My brother, started a new job, started doing stuff. He has his family. So do I. So we kind of like put it on hold. And I decided I wanted to pick it back up.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it on my own.
Yeah.
So, this is the new episode of my new podcast.
Oh, wow. What's the name?
So, I believe right now it's going to be called the UnParishable podcast. Wow. It's between that or House of Parish. What do you feel?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Those are two hard names. I will say that. They both cold. Wow. Universe was trying to stop me from giving my choice. But the first one.
UnParishable?
Yeah, the UnParishable. That's
all right. So that's what it is then. I guess that's what it'll be. We'll see. But that was my first choice as well, was the UnParishable podcast. So so this is the new start of my podcast. And for those of you who don't know, my name is Parish, thus the UnParishable podcast. And so I'll pretty much be hosting these. And once I get my soundboard, I'm gonna be doing that too. But so pretty much I'm gonna be hosting podcasts again, where I'll be bringing in guests or talking about whatever the hell I feel like talking about, because I don't really feel like niching down. I just like so many different things. I'm interested in different things and different people. So I just want to bring a little bit of what I like into the podcast realm. And today I have one of my good brothers that I've known for a very long time, pretty much like 10 plus years.
Yeah.
And we met in church, of course, playing in the band and doing plays and different things at what's the name of the church again?
Good News.
Good News.
Haitian Baptist Church.
Haitian Baptist Church. Yeah, that's what it was. Good News. And this is my Haitian brother, Josh. Well, we call him Cojo around these parts.
Yeah.
So
thank you for having me.
Yeah, he's a amazing keyboard player. Amazing. You know what? I'll just say instrumentalist, because he plays more than just the keys. So, he plays guitar. I've seen him play guitar and bass and like dabble on the drums and everything. So
a little dabble.
Yeah, so he plays a lot of different instruments. And the Konpa track that you heard in the intro is actually his track. So he also produces and all that. But I guess I should also say a little bit about myself.
Yeah,
it just goes to show you where my mind is always on, like just like talking about everybody else. But I need to get comfortable talking about myself too. But I also am a musician.
Yes. One of the coldest basses out here.
Oh, thank you. I'm not that great, but
don't do that to yourself.
But I'm good enough to rock. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
I'm a musician. I'm a singer. I'm a rapper. I produce. I do all of that. But it's not all of me, which is why I wanted to make a podcast, because I am interested in a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about restarting the podcast, and at first I was going to do it after New Year. So this is December of 2022 right now.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll do it into the next year. and started then. But recently, I've just been, like, in this past year, doing a lot of research. And even within the past month or few months, even more research on our home country, which is where our family comes from,
Yeah.
which is Haiti.
Yeah.
So I'm part Haitian. My mom's side is all from Haiti, and Cojo is also Haitian.
Yeah.
So, and as all Haitians know, January 1st is the Haitian Independence Day.
Yep.
And while everybody is celebrating the new year, we're celebrating our Independence Day.
Right.
That, you know, Haiti got their independence from France. And I just thought, we need a podcast about the Haitian Independence Day. Not an entire, like, podcast, but just, like, at least an episode talking about Haitian Independence Day and all that went on, and or all that led up to Haitian Independence Day, and why it should be talked about. Because especially for black people, not just Haitians, but black people in general, we should know more about Haitian Independence Day, because the Haitian Revolution is just very powerful. It's very impactful, and it's very powerful and empowering is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
But so that's why today, for the first episode of my new podcast, I decided to bring on another Haitian brother, so that we both can talk about, you know, the Haitian experience, at least for two young Haitian Americans growing up, and our knowledge or understanding of the Haitian Revolution and what we were taught or not taught, and what we think should be taught from here on out.
Yeah.
So, like, what do you know about the Haitian Revolution? Like, what were you told or taught about, you know, Haiti growing up?
So I learned more from school than I did at home.
Yeah.
It was weird, you know.
About the Haitian Revolution?
Yeah.
What school did you go to?
I went to so basically we didn't talk about the Haitian Revolution like that at all at the house.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing. Like, there was, you know, I guess it was one of those things where my mom was like grateful to be here in America.
Right.
She's like, I'm about to be American.
I would agree with that, because in my home, like, so are your parents directly from Haiti?
Yes. Well, so my mom was born in Haiti. She lived there until she was 14, and then she got sent to live in France with her siblings.
Okay, so your parents are like, so you're a first generation American Haitian. Mm-hmm. I'm second generation. Oh, wow. So my grandmother came here from Haiti.
Wow.
And, you know, of course, my mom was born here in New York, and I was born here as well. I was born in Miami, but I was raised in New York. Because, you know, all the Haitians go to Miami or New York.
Yeah, it's the Mecca for Haitians.
Exactly. But I don't think that my grandmother told my mom much about it, and my mom didn't tell me much about it. And it's, you know, not because they didn't want to, or because they were hiding something or ashamed. I feel like if they knew a lot of this information, they definitely would have shared it with us. Right. Because it's very powerful stuff. Yeah. I just think they didn't really know. Yeah. And that part. Like you said, when Haitians come over here, they not really thinking about Haiti
I'm proud
anymore.
To be a Haitian and Haiti and all this, Haiti this, with the Haitian flag on the car and everything. Right. They're like trying to assimilate.
Exactly.
Especially in the 90s too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like our age, or people who are second generation or first generation American born, like, we rep Haiti, I think, a little more than even the people who directly came from there. But I think because, like you said, they kind of getting away from that. Like, we don't know the lives they lived when they was in Haiti. I believe my grandmother because like I said, she doesn't talk much about it. But what she did say, I think she lived in the mountains.
Wow.
In Haiti, like if for those that don't know, Haiti is a very mountainous island.
Yeah.
And she lived in the mountains.
She lived in Undale.
Yeah.
Hey.
And so she didn't have like a, proper schooling growing up. She didn't come from a big city. She, wasn't a lot of like electric circuits in her home, or like plumbing or anything like that. And she kind of lived a tough life, there. So when you come to America, you just like, I'm here, I'm trying to have a better life. I ain't really thinking about all that.
Yeah.
But when we grow up in America, especially as black people, we kind of look for something to attach ourselves to. This is what I think.
Yeah.
Because in America, as black people, I don't think we feel American. Like if we go to another country, they'll call us American based off of our accent or whatever. And if I say, oh yeah, I'm from New York, or I'm from whatever, and they'll be like, oh, okay, you're American.
Right.
But we don't feel American.
And I feel like that comes with that kind of like what we were talking about earlier with the word black period.
Yeah, exactly.
Is not even like, like registered. It was something made up by the people that are like American, what I'm saying? Like it was like we have a product. What do we call this product that we have?
Exactly.
Call it black.
Black was definitely a construct made up.
Yeah.
Because in order for white to exist, black has to exist. If you get what I'm saying. So in order for the white supremacist idea that they're creating to exist, you have to create the opposition.
You have to create the opposition. Yeah.
So that's why race in the like world doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Inside
the box of what the hegemonic like inside of that hegemonic box, it has to make sense, because you need something to be above. So black only exists inside that box or the framework of the system that white supremacy created. Without that, it don't exist because it's not necessary. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think because of that construct, black people in America, we feel like we have to attach ourselves to something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for those of us that actually know where our family originally came from before they migrated over here, a lot of times I feel like we attach ourselves to that.
Yeah.
So if you're from like Nigeria, or if your parents are from like Ghana, or if your parents are from Haiti, or if they're from Jamaica, or if they're from any other country or ethnic group, we kind of attach ourselves to that, and we're the ones buying the flags and putting them in up. I got one up on my car. You know what I mean? We're buying the shirts and the bandanas and all of that.
Everything.
Yeah.
Wrist thing. I was gonna come through with my whole Haitian gear today, but I was late coming out the shower. I was like, let me just put on a brace. I'm gonna keep it small.
Nah, I literally, cause I've been wanting to get a Haitian flag, like a tapestry or something like that.
Same.
Cause I don't have a big one, and I was like, oh, it would be so fire to get one for this pod, but because I was doing it so last minute, anyways, I didn't have time. So the best I could do was put the red and blue lights up in the background to represent the Haitian flag.
Listen,
that's the best I could do, but
that's a lot right there.
Yeah. So pretty much what you're saying is what I kind of understand to be as far as Haitian Americans growing up, is that we don't really get Haitian education by Haitians.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's real. They don't give it because of the circumstances of just being here. And I feel like a lot of it is trauma too.
Yeah.
Because of what we went through, I feel that now could be kind of controversial in a sense, but we did the physical thing and spiritual with defeating the French. You know what I'm saying? And gaining the independence.
Right.
Now, what the French and what they did in return was they kind of did the just held the bondage within the finances and within the mind in a sense.
Exactly. Psychology is like one of the biggest tools that they've definitely played on us.
Yeah.
Which is why when people be like, they don't really understand how the state of, black people are the way that they are today, when like, because like a lot of people even get like, I say a lot of white people, but it's not just them that will get mad and be like, why y'all still holding on to slavery? That was such and such 100 years ago or whatever. And it's like, but the psychology that they played on, the ramifications of slavery, it still affects our community.
Right.
To this day.
And that was intentional. Like,
exactly.
What the slavery that exists today was intentional even from way back in the day. Because you got to beat it into you, right?
Right.
Beat it into you, and then continue to play the narrative, but you have to like kind of move with the times.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like today slavery anywhere isn't popular. No. You know what I'm saying? But they still want slaves. So it's like, how do I like, stay popular and keep my slaves? Well, I make them think that they're not slaves.
Exactly. And then you still exploit them in all the ways that you did before and profit off of it. Because the thing about slavery is they're trying to profit off of, people. Yeah. And not have to do it themselves. Right. And still become rich.
Right.
Without,
right.
having to do having to do as minimal work as possible.
Yeah.
And today they still exploit people's minds.
Right.
And it's, not just black people that get exploited. There are a lot of poor white people, but the system has definitely been affected to work against us since slavery. And there's a lot that has not been changed to help uplift the people that they've literally stepped on to get where they at.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And even down with the Haitians coming to America, they found a way, you know what I'm saying, to not only have we deal with racism from white people, now we're dealing with racism from black people.
Yeah.
Like I heard,
I know a lot of people say black people can't be racist, but I disagree. Because their argument is that black people, you can't be racist because we're not the oppressors. So we can't be racist because racism is towards people that, like, we don't have the power to be racist, is what people say. But I disagree, because racism isn't a power structure. The power structure is built off of race. Racism is an ideology. It's a way you think. It's the way you act. Mm-hmm. It's your ideas towards a group of people.
Right.
I don't think we are the oppressors. I agree with that. We're not oppressing people. We're not holding people back or holding people down. I still think we can be racist. And sometimes I say some stuff towards white people and be like, yeah, I think I'm a little racist or prejudiced towards, and that was a little bit racist or prejudiced towards white people. Right. But I'm kind of joking. I'm like, because I'm not really racist towards white people. But
I feel like at the end of the day, a real evil person that is trying to stir something up, create a division. You know, in order to create division, I feel like you have to play both sides. You got to be on both sides of it. I wouldn't be surprised if racism was slick amped by a black person. You know what I'm saying? If white people came over to Africa for something else, and then a black person was like, well, I can sell you all these niggas.
Well,
and I could.
That's exactly what happened. So, there was definitely a lot of Africans selling Africans. It wasn't just white people coming over and taking over. Because I mean, especially think about how many, like I think about how big Africa is as a country, as a or not as a country, as a continent, and how many groups of people are in Africa. You're not just gonna take over all of Africa without anybody not doing anything about it. So, but there were a lot of African nations that also sold, because and this is why like race as a construct doesn't make sense, is because in Africa there were warring tribes and warring countries and warring nations before Europeans got there and started snatching people up. So if I saw another tribe as my enemy, and these people from Europe is coming over here and they looking for black people as a commodity, then you would find your opportunities to make money and relationships and uplift your community or nation and tribe too, and you'll be like, shit, I don't like these people. So y'all start fighting and capturing slaves and selling them off to Europeans. So
it's wild.
So with that, because I just really wanted to touch base on like where we get our ideas or how we've gotten our education and ideas, which I'm surprised you got some from school, because I didn't really get any from my school. I went to school in New York and here in Georgia. I graduated. I went to middle school and high school here.
Okay,
in
what high
Georgia.
school you went to out here?
I went to Shiloh.
Hey, okay.
And I went to South Gwinnett High School. I graduated from South Gwinnett.
I went to South too. Okay.
For real?
Yeah, man. We probably rubbed shoulders. I went 2009 and then I left and came back for 2011.
No, so I didn't get there until 2011, and I graduated in 2012. I went to South at the end of like 2011. Yeah. And then graduated in 2012.
I left in 2012 to go to Phoenix.
Bro, I went to Phoenix too, though.
What?
But because
we been rubbing shoulders,
yeah, we was around each other, so it's destined. Like we was around each other, we just ain't even know it. Right. Because I was failing. I failed. Like I forgot what class I failed, but I had to retake it at Phoenix in order to graduate on time. So I was going to regular school, and then after school I would go to Phoenix in order to make up the my classes or whatever.
The night classes.
Yeah. But so pretty much on my goal is to try to get this podcast out on Haitian Independence Day, on New Year Day. But if not, then I'll do it like the day or week or whenever after. Just I think the information the information is important. Right. So I think, because like I said, like I didn't get a lot of this education, I think, in the past like 2 years, and I'd say even more so in the past few months, I have gotten like some information that's just blown my mind about where my family has come from. And just surprised that no one's told me this, and that they probably don't even know themselves, and that is crazy that they don't know, because this is empowering information. So if for those of you who failed geometry class or just forgot or don't know, but Haiti is a part of an island that is in the Caribbean Ocean, right off the coast, or right next to America and South America. If you go over, there are the islands of the Caribbean. And you have the Greater Antilles Islands, which would be like Jamaica, Cuba, Puerto Rico, the Bahamas, like all of that is like the Greater Antilles. And then you have the Lesser Antilles, which would be those smaller islands like the Virgin Islands. I think Trinidad is down there, St. Lucian, like all those islands would be the Lesser Antilles. Haiti is a part of the Greater Antilles. It's a big island, and it shares the western third of the island with Dominican Republic.
Right.
So the western third of the island is Haiti. The eastern 2/3 of the island is the Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll probably put like a
Yeah.
map or something up
Yeah.
in post or whatever. But yeah, so that whole island was actually landed on by Christopher Columbus,
Mm.
and he named it Hispaniola. So the whole island is called Hispaniola.
Yeah.
At least that's what Christopher Columbus called it.
Yeah.
But as we know, like, he never discovered anything. He just
Yeah.
got to where other people already were.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time he got to
popular.
Haiti, he actually shipwrecked on Haiti.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he shipwrecked, and so like, if on the whole island,
Mm-hmm.
he was actually on the Haitian side. Like, he
Wow.
wasn't on the Dominican side. He was on the
Wow.
Haitian side.
Okay.
I think where they call it Mont Saint Nicolas is the city or the town,
That makes sense.
which is right on the coast, like the northwest coast. He crash landed or shipwrecked right there, and this was in like 1492.
Yeah.
And the first ever European settlement was actually built in Haiti, right there on Saint
Wow.
Nicolas, and it was called So after he shipwrecked, he found the people that were there,
Yeah.
which we call them the Taino natives,
Mm-hmm.
which I think they were also called the Arawak natives that were already on the island, and they pretty much helped Christopher Columbus and his people get to shore safely because they're
Wow.
beautiful, nice people.
Yeah.
And they took the remnants of the ship,
Mm-hmm.
which I forgot what the ship was called. Not that important. They
Yeah.
took the remnants of the ship and built a fort there called Fort La Navidad, because it was Christmas. I think it was like
Oh wow.
the day before Christmas that they set up, that they named the fort and finished the fort, and they
Wow.
had Christmas dinner with the Arawak people,
Huh.
and they called it Fort La Navidad or whatever.
Did
And
did the Arawak people celebrate Christmas?
I don't think they cared. They was just
it's like food.
they was like, oh, that's what y'all do? Cool,
Right.
we'll join y'all. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, that seems fun. We'll
Yeah.
get to learn about your culture.
Yeah.
You can learn about our culture. We'll
Right.
exchange, because the Taino people were actually like really nice people, a nice group of people. They weren't like a warring nation. Like, they did have enemies or whatnot, but most of the time they weren't fighting.
Okay.
So Christopher Columbus in 1492 sets that up, and then he sees that the Arawak people have like gold jewelry on and stuff like that. And don't say stuff like, I'm trying to work on like speaking
I'm
better.
working on it too.
Try not to say like, and you know what I mean, and stuff like that all the time. But anyways, so Christopher Columbus saw they had gold and other resources, and was like, oh, I need to get some of that and bring it back to Spain, because Spain was the one who sent him on the journey.
Yeah.
Which I actually think he is Italian. Christopher Columbus was Italian, I think.
Oh, wow.
But he wanted to go on adventures, and Spain was the one who
funded it for him.
yeah, exactly. So
Wow.
he did it in the name of Spain.
Wow.
So he needed to go back to Spain in order to get more resources and people, and come back to try to get all the gold and resources and things that he was there to get for Spain.
Yeah.
So he leaves like 30 people I think it was 30 people on the island at Fort La Navidad, and was like, I'm about to be out. I'm going to come back in a year with more people or whatever. Y'all just hold it down. And those Spanish conquistadors, I think,
Mm-hmm.
not I think, they were called conquistadors. Those Spanish were
the people that were on the boat with him.
yeah, the ones that he
Yeah.
left.
Yeah.
They were kind of being rude and unruly to the
Tainos.
yeah. So like trying to sleep with their woman, like just trying to take stuff and like not really being good guests
Yeah.
at their home.
Yeah.
And they
Sounds
were
very-
terrorizing the people pretty much.
Sounds very Thanksgiving like.
But it's Christmas this time.
Oh wow.
And so
Holiday cheer.
which that whole story about the pilgrims coming to America and setting out, that's not true either.
Oh wow.
So but
Wow.
another story for another time.
Right.
So
Okay.
he comes there, or they're terrorizing the Arawak people. So of course, like anybody, if you come into my crib and start fucking with me, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
So they killed all the Spanish people because they were they were literally terrorizing, like killing
Yeah.
the Tainos, trying to sleep with their women, taking their food, like trying to force them into like labor and all this stuff.
Wow.
And they wasn't having it, so they
Wow.
killed them and burnt down the fort. But they knew
That they were coming back.
that Christopher Columbus was coming back.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
So I think they were trying to figure out, like, okay, so how do we, like,
Yeah.
what do we do? You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right.
which also, by the way, I don't know if I should, like, this should be common sense, but there was no like split in the island. It was all one island
Oh,
to the natives. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
to the Arawak people, it was all one island. It was
Yeah.
all their island, and it was 5 kingdoms that were on that island. And the Arawaks had what I guess we could call chiefs, but they called them caciques. That was the name of the leaders, and there were 5 of them. And when Christopher Columbus got there, there were 4 male caciques and 1 woman cacique, and her name was Anacaona. And in their tradition, they believed that there had to be balance, so they had to at least be one of the opposite sex of that was a cacique. So there was 4 males and 1 woman, but it could have been anything. Like if there were 4 women, there had to be one man.
male.
If
Yeah.
there was 3 women, 2 men. Like
Yeah,
they just
I
didn't
see.
want it all to be one thing. So
Yeah.
there was actually a woman cacique called Anacaona, and she was one of their leaders.
Wow.
And when Christopher Columbus got back, of course, he saw his people dead. They were trying to explain to them, like, nah, like they was,
Yeah.
being rude. They weren't listening. They weren't cooperating with us.
Yeah.
And they attacked us. So we had to attack them back.
Mm-hmm.
But Christopher Columbus and them already came there with the intentions of taking their stuff anyways.
Oh
So
wow.
he
Wow.
was just like, oh, well, looks like we got to kill you. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And
Yeah.
started forcing them into labor because he was looking for gold.
Mm.
They did have some sugar plantations
Yeah.
and stuff, but not much because they were mainly just trying to find gold and stuff.
Wow.
So
It was like pretty much Chris was like, I left them there to terrorize you guys.
Exactly.
I don't
you weren't
understand the
supposed to
problem
kill
here.
them. You were supposed to let them be.
Right.
So, I don't want to spend too much time talking about it, but I just feel like no one really talks about the people that were there before.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
the other thing to note is that the island was actually called Haiti.
Wow.
The native name, the Arawak name for the entire island was Haiti.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
the AY, I think they spelled it like AYTI, IT.
Yeah.
And it just, in their language, meant the island of mountains or the land of mountains
Wow.
because it's an island.
With a lot
With
of
a lot of
mountains.
mountains.
Yeah.
I think they also had a couple of other names for that island,
Yeah.
which was, what was the, oh no. Hold on a second. I'm gonna just hold it like this. I think one of the names was, oh yeah, Quisqueya.
Okay.
Quisqueya was another name they had for the island. Hold on a second.
Quisqueya.
Mm-hmm. That sounds dope, right?
Yeah, that does. Quisqueya.
Yeah.
Sound like you're asking somebody a question in Creole.
Right. I'm gonna just hold it now because I think I fucked it up.
Oh no.
But yeah. So Quisqueya is another name they had, and I think that meant mother of islands or something like that.
Okay.
And just another notable things that we got from the Tainos, hammocks.
Wow.
They actually slept in hammocks.
Wow.
So that's something that we got from them.
Okay.
Barbecue.
Wow.
Barbecue is actually a Taino or Awawak
Now
term.
that is important right there. That
That's
you
what I'm
just said
saying.
that like we gotta sit on that for a second.
Barbecue, bro.
Haitians started. Listen, and the original Haitians, not even just Haitian,
the
original
The
Haitians
original Haitians
gave the world barbecuing, bro.
barbecue, bro.
That's where we commune as a people. You know what I'm saying? At least over here.
Everybody loves a good barbecue.
Everybody
bro.
loves a good barbecue.
Come on, dog.
Like
But-
racism dies at a barbecue. As long as you're
goddamn
invited.
right. Like, that nigga know how to fry up a
Goddamn
good grill.
Goddamn good chicken, goddamn.
I
Like,
know
listen.
that, right. As long as you keep cooking like that, you can keep on coming over. I don't care if you're a nigger or not.
Right. You're my nigger.
Right. Like, please don't say that. But
the one thing about racist white folk, bro, like a good racist white person, bro,
a good racist
they can
white-
cook some good ass fried chicken.
Do they?
They cook some good ass fried chicken, bro.
You know what?
You gotta find them deep down in the South and racist as hell.
I usually don't trust white people's chicken, so
Yeah,
I'd
but
never
were they
given
race?
them-
Were they like Southern racist though?
I don't know, dog. Like
Because
I'm just always leery. I not to say that I will never, but I've eaten white people's food before, and
Yeah.
some have been good. But it's just most of the times I'll be like,
yeah, because there's a difference between like in the city and in the city you can't eat no, you know what I'm saying. I don't even know if they know what a fire is. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
We
But
not
I've
gonna be
definitely
right.
had some. I've had some country white folks food
Listen,
before. That have been
amazing.
pretty good, you know. But mostly, I try to stick with the ethnic side of
The
things.
ethnic side of things.
Yeah, not just because it's not just American blacks. Like I love.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, my favorite all-time food is Caribbean food. Just
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what
Yep.
country.
Yep.
Which island? Caribbean food from Puerto Rican to
Mhm.
Cuban to Dominican, Haitian, Jamaican, Bahamian,
hmm
Trinidadian,
It's a specific swag. You know what I'm saying?
all them.
Yeah.
It tastes so good. I
Yeah.
love. And the fucked up thing is, I saw this list. I shared it on my Instagram page.
Yeah.
And it was like the top 50 best foods in the world.
Mm.
And Caribbean, not one Caribbean country made it on the top 50. Not
Who made the
one.
list? Who made the list?
Exactly. Who made the list? The same people whose fried chicken you probably tried.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
Ah.
that was blasphemy, utter blasphemy, because
blasphemy.
Caribbean food has got to be some of the best food in the entire world.
And if you have not tried it,
Please.
find you a Haitian January
Yes.
1st
And okay, yeah,
because that's important.
and get you one of
Soup.
your first meal should be a soup jumu,
Soup jumu
because
Mhm.
that is the soup that we eat
every year.
every January 1st to celebrate Independence Day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get to why we do that in a moment.
Ooh.
So, yeah, just, I just wanted to, talk about a couple of the things that the Tainos or the Arawaks,
Yeah.
did, or how they lived, and, a little bit about their culture. They did believe in, like, they did have certain gods or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
deities.
Yeah.
don't say or whatever. They had deities, and they called them Zumis. And there is even in Haiti some engravings still that you can find
Wow.
of their sculptures and,
Oh, wow.
and stuff in stone and in like by rivers and all different types of, you know, work. Their imprint is still there.
Yeah.
In Haiti and Dominican Republic.
Wow.
I think there might even be like one of the kingdoms was called Igwe. And I even think in the Dominican side, they have a place called Igwe.
Oh, wow.
And Quisqueya.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, they some of their imprint is still there.
Yeah, it's still there.
It's still there.
That's dope.
So, anywho, Christopher Columbus, he gets there. He you know, does what he did, and then he moves on, and the conquistadors, they all move on to, like, South America. But they still have a hold of Hispaniola, which is the entire island, as a colony. And years go by, and a lot of the Tainos are, you know, forced into labor, and they're pretty much getting wiped out, you know, by disease, by overworking, and pretty much years and years of that. And there was a Catholic priest. I think his name was, I think I typed it. Let me just not go off of my puny human brain. But Bartholomew de las Casas was a priest who went there, and he arrived there and saw all that, like, the Tainos were getting fucked up, pretty much, and dying off. He was actually the one who suggested that they start using Africans for their labor.
Wow.
Because he said that the Tainos couldn't handle it.
Wow.
Like, a lot of them are dying off, and, you know, we need to go to Africa and get Africans.
Wow.
And bring them over here to work.
Wow.
So in the early 1500s, yeah, I'm not good with dates, so I don't remember exactly what, but I'll just say the early 1500s.
Yeah.
They started going to Africa and taking the you know, slaves. But the way that they did it was they would take slaves from Africa and then bring them to Iberia, the Iberian Peninsula, which is where Spain and Portugal, those countries are. That's called the Iberian Peninsula. So they would take them there because they had to Catholicize them. They had to Christianize. They didn't want to bring Africans over that were Muslim or that were, you know, had any of their African traditions.
Right.
So they would bring them over there. They would, like, you know, baptize them, or, you know, like you said, condition them, Catholicize them, if that's a word. Christianize them, and then send them back to, you know, or send them over to the, you know, Americas, wherever they were going. So after a while, one of the kings or princes, I forget, but they were, I think they're the grandkids of what's the guy's name? Is it King Ferdinand and Princess and Queen who cares? Two you know, monarch white people that started you know, enslaving people. I forget their names, which is why, you know, I should have prefaced this, but I'm not a historian, clearly, guys. So, you know, verify everything I'm saying.
Right. That's the important part.
Yeah,
but nah, you still got it, man. You got a historian in you.
do a deeper dive, because I be forgetting names and dates. So, but anywho, the guy said, you know, that's too much work, and we're spending too much money to capture them, bring them here, then send them over. Right. So just send them over. So, which lets you know that the people that they were sending over, a lot of them started keeping their traditions. Some would be Muslim, some would be other African traditional cultures, and some would be Christian. And they were sending all of those people over
Yeah.
to the island of Hispaniola and all throughout the Caribbean. And so what starts happening is around the late 1500s into the 1600s, other countries like France and Britain and the Dutch, they all start sending their ships that way too, seeing what they can colonize. And French pirates and other pirates from other countries start going out there too, because there a lot of people are bringing back goods, some gold, some sugarcane, coffee, and other resources that people were selling off to make money.
Yeah.
And French pirates in particular started setting up right off the northern tip of the island of Hispaniola, which is modern day Haiti. There's a little island like right off the northwestern tip of Haiti called Tortuga.
Okay.
And they would go there and wait for ships to come by, because a lot of the Spanish and other ships would send or would come through what is called the Windward Passage, which is right in between Haiti and Cuba.
Yeah.
So Cuba has Guantanamo Bay, that's right there.
Yeah.
And Haiti has a town called
Tortuga.
Well, they have Tortuga, which they also used as like a waypoint, but there's another town right off the edge of right on the edge of Haiti called Mont Saint Nicolas. That's what it's called in modern day times. The same spot where Christopher Columbus landed. So a lot of ships would go through that, Windward Passage. So French pirates set up shop on Tortuga and would raid ships and take over, and then go back to Tortuga after they took their booty, and use that money to spend it on, like, food, whatever, and the booty. And what they started doing was, like, France started realizing that these pirates were doing that, and they started hiring buccaneers, which buccaneers are pretty much privates, but pirates, but that are hired by like
bounty hunters.
Yeah, like they're hired by their country or a person.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So I think back then you had like pirates, buccaneers, privateers, and it's pretty much the same people, just one would be underneath it just depended on what flag they were under. Yeah. So they started looting and stuff underneath the French flag, and they would just go more and more into Haiti. Like they just kept setting up more and pushing further and further into Haiti. The Spanish found out about that, of course. They didn't like it. Yeah. So they started, fighting each other. But eventually they came to an agreement that, they would split the island up with the French. Wow. And I forget what the treaty is called, but they signed this treaty. And I wonder if I typed it. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Yeah, I don't think I did. But anywho, they signed a treaty, and they gave Haiti the western third of the island. Or not Haiti. They gave France the western third of the island, and they kept the other. Spanish kept the other 2/3. And the Spanish side, there was their capital was called Santo Domingo, which today is still the capital of Dominican Republic. Yeah. So their side of the island, they just called it Santo Domingo. The Haitian side, or I keep saying the Haitian side, modern day Haitian side, but the French side just called the island Saint-Domingue, which is literally the same thing, just in French. It's Santo Domingo in French. It's Saint-Domingue. So the French colony was, at the time, it was a French colony. They called it Saint-Domingue. and the French started setting up shop there. They started bringing their slaves over, and they set up sugar plantations and coffee plantations, and got to work with making all this money.
Yeah.
It got so prosperous that at one point the French colony Saint-Domingue was called the Pearl of the Antilles.
Wow.
Because
wow.
France had made so much money off of the colony of Saint-Domingue that they were, I think at one point, they were making over like, they had over 40%, produced over 40% of Europe's sugar.
Wow.
And like 60 or 80% of the coffee.
Wow. Wow.
And
wow.
it became the most prosperous colony in the Western Hemisphere.
Wow.
Over America, or at the time, the 13 British colonies.
Yeah.
More prosperous than all of them put together.
Huh.
Off the back, of course, of slaves.
Yeah.
So around, like going into the 1700s, it's like France is just getting so much wealth from there, and France is just building, while their little colony is, has harsh slave labor. The slave labor was so bad there, or the slavery conditions were so bad there, that I think they said, I saw somewhere that they said the slaves would last 3 to 7 years. That's how bad the conditions were over there.
Wild as hell.
Especially on the sugar. The sugar plantations were the harshest, because sugar cane is just hard to deal with.
Yeah.
And like, especially when you chop it, like it gets like very sharp, and it can cut your skin, so you get like little cuts and abrasions.
Wow.
And then once they started
getting infected and stuff like that.
Right.
That's
and
crazy.
then they started industrializing. So they had sugar mills. And people would get stuck in sugar mills and get like their arms caught or body parts, and people would die and just get mutilated on all these sugar plantations.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So this is what was happening in order for the French to prosper as much as they were on that, part of the island.
Right.
That little 1/3 of that island was overproducing all of the colonies on the western side of the world.
Yeah.
Now, this is where, like, towards the 1700s, you start getting into the revolts, where it's not to say that Haiti is the first revolt, but the Haitian country was the first successful slave revolution,
right,
where the slaves fought against the country that was oppressing them, and got their independence and created a sovereign nation of their own.
Right.
The very first, and this is why I think
first
Haiti, the Haitian story, is so important.
Yeah.
And needs to be talked about more.
And after we did that for ourselves, we went out and helped 17 other countries.
Bro, we did so much.
Gain their own independence.
We did so much, bro.
Flip the formula.
Right. Like, but this is why I'm saying, like, Haiti is important, because in history, it's attached. Haiti is attached to so much in history. We just don't know about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can't talk about every single fucking thing, or else we'll be here for like 5-6 hours. Because when I say that there's so much to talk about with Haiti, there is so much.
Yeah.
Like, all right, so we're back. We kind of had a little technical difficulties. I don't got no podcast studio, and I'm limited in my setup. So,
hey,
this is how things go.
This is the Living Room Beyonce album podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is the make do with what you got.
Yeah. Facts.
It's that put it together and get it popping
Yes, sir.
podcast. So that's what we did. But anywho, I believe before I got cut off, damn, what was I saying? Also, this would be around the time, like in a normal podcast where they have sponsors and stuff, where if they had the technical difficulties, you could just throw it in right there.
Yep.
But we ain't got that. But we could.
Right.
I mean, if anybody want to sponsor me, you know, I don't care, even locally in Atlanta or whatever. If
That's
you got
even better.
something going on, hit me up. Let's see what we can make popping. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it, you know, let's get some work.
Yep.
Anyways, so what I was saying before it got cut off was that what I was getting into was the actual rebellions or the revolutions that were going on in Haiti. Right. So what I was saying was, like, a lot of the Africans that were taken over were taken from like West Africa and the Sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of their cultures mashed together, including with the Christian culture, which then births like voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
And you had a lot of mini revolts that were going on all before the big Haitian revolt. In 1791 was when the first big Haitian revolt started. But even before then, you had other revolts. And a lot of what would happen is when a lot of people got brought, a lot of the Africans got brought here, they would escape. Like, some would immediately escape as soon as they got here, but others would escape later, and they would go into the mountains of Haiti, and they were called the Maroons. So you had a Maroon whose name was Mackandal, and he was one of the first biggest, one of the first big revolts in Haitian history, where he was on a plantation as a slave. He escapes, becomes a Maroon, and he was also a voodoo priest and a herbalist. So he knew all the plants of the land.
Right.
So what he would do is find the plants that were poisonous, and he would actually poison a lot of the slave masters. And he would also poison black people who wasn't on his side, what he called the black collaborators, people that were collaborating with the white slave masters, people we would call coons today, or, you know, Uncle Toms and whatnot, people that aren't really on your side.
Right.
So he was like, I don't care if you black, you're gonna get this work. If you're not on my side, you gonna get poisoned too. So he would poison their water supply and poison their animals, and he would have people that were working with him that worked in like the slave kitchens and stuff like that, and he would have them poisoning their food. So a lot of them are just dying off, right?
Yeah.
And he would
That's
also
crazy.
attack some of the plantations, like burn them and stuff. But they eventually caught him because of a black collaborator. They caught him and they burnt him at the stake. And this was around the 1750s.
Wow.
Like around that time, 1750s. So they find him and they burn him at the stake. And one of the stories behind him is, there's two stories of what happened at his death. And one of them is that he actually didn't die. When they burned him, he turned into a creature, like a flying creature, either a bird or like a bug or something like that. And he flew away and never died.
Wow.
The second story I've heard of Mackandal is that when he was being burnt at the stake, he said, I'm not gonna die, I'm gonna come back as a mosquito. And you know, that seems confusing at first, but a lot of people think that ties into when a lot of the French people came to fight against the Haitians, that a lot of them died from yellow fever and malaria and diseases that are brought upon by mosquitoes. So people think that that's just like another prophecy that he, you know, told. Either it's a prophecy or like directly that he was the mosquitoes. You know, like he sent.
That's crazy.
He did come back as a mosquito, and
Gotcha, nigga.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, y'all thought I was gone? Said, what's good, nigga? Y'all was talking all that good shit.
All that shit. Trying to burn me and shit.
So that was the revolt of Mackandal.
Wow. And this is all before.
Yeah, all before the big Haitian revolt in 1791.
And it's crazy because it's like how many other, Mackandals.
Right, stuff that we don't even know about.
Right.
A lot of that wasn't written down. But or if it was probably burnt or done away with because they don't want black people knowing about this so that they can revolt.
Right.
So after Mackandal pretty much sparked something in the Haitian people. Because when they burnt him at the stake, the white people thought like, we're doing this so we can like put down the rebellion and discourage people from wanting to do this again. But it didn't do that. They was like, oh, we can really do something. You know what I mean? Like now they were charged up that it really sparked something in them. So there was another small revolt before the big one too, and it was started by this dude Vincent Oge, but he was a mulatto. So the way that like a lot of the structure was in that society, much like it was in any other like slave society in America or in the Caribbeans, is you had white people that were raping and having children with some of the black people. And those would be biracial, or what some people in some of the countries call mulatto kids. And in Haiti in particular, or in the colony of Saint Domingue, they would have these they weren't slaves. A lot of them would be allowed to be free, but they just didn't have any rights. So they weren't able to own land or weren't able to really do anything, and they still had to answer to white people all the time. And they didn't like that either. So there was this one mulatto guy, Vincent Oge, who started a revolt, and it started attacking plantations and stuff before the big revolt. And his revolt definitely got put down as well. But once again, these are things that are like sparking the Haitian people, or the people on the slaves on the colony of Saint Domingue. Now you get to the big revolt, and this story, like I said, like we all know. Well, if you're Haitian, more than likely you know of Toussaint Louverture, who is glorified as like a great military man who helped free the Haitian people, and get their independence. But he didn't start the revolt. He didn't start the revolution. So in 1791, there was a guy who got brought to the Haitian island. He was a slave who got brought to the Haitian island from Jamaica because he was a slave that was acting out, and the French were like extremely cruel in their practices with slaves. So since the British on the Jamaican colony was like, well, if you're not gonna do right, then we'll send you over there with the French. So they sent him over there, and there was a guy, they called him Dirty Boukman, and they called him Boukman because he had a little book that he would hold on, that he would have tied to his waist, and it was a Quran because he was Muslim, and he would preach. But when he got to Haiti, he also became a voodoo priest. And so they would try to take his book from him so he can stop like preaching and talking to people, but he wouldn't give it up. So they burnt the book on him, and some of him, got burnt up a bit, and that's what they started calling him Boukman after that. So you have this guy who's a voodoo priest, and this woman named Cecile Fatima, who is also a voodoo priestess.
Mm.
They go to a place in Haiti that's called the Alligator Swamp,
Hmm.
and they start organizing with other slaves and maroons, and trying to organize a revolt. And this took a long time. Like, Fatima really was the one who did all the planning and talking
Wow.
to other people and really getting this organized.
Yeah.
And so after like a long, like, months and months and months of getting people together, they went to the Alligator Swamp, and they had a hold on, because I want to get it right. I want to
Yeah, most def.
what is it called? Okay. So they got together with all the slaves and the maroons, and they did a voodoo ceremony in August, I think it was August 14th, 1791,
Wow.
where they met in that swamp and they planned out how they were going to start revolting. And they did a voodoo ceremony called, I think they called it the Kayiman.
Mm.
Let me make sure I got it right.
Bois Kayiman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kayiman ceremony, where Dutty Boukman and Cecile Fatima were the leaders of this. So all of the people that were a part of this voodoo ceremony were like agreeing and coming together and like, this is our plan. We're gonna do this in a week. And one of the things that I heard was somebody asked Boukman, like, how are we gonna fight? Like, we don't have any weapons. We're just slaves. Like, how are we gonna fight against them? And I think one of the things he said was like, God didn't put you here without any way to do anything. He was like, that stone you're sitting on is a seat, but if you pick it up, it's a weapon. So that's what started them using guerrilla warfare, because they didn't have the weapons like the French. They just had to use whatever they had.
Yeah.
And like I said before, a lot of the people that were being brought over were African warriors that got captured by their opposing tribe and sold off into slavery.
Wow.
So these are people who know how to fight,
Right.
and know how to make weapons out of like wood and stone, and make spears and
Yeah.
bamboo knives and using machetes and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So pretty much what their plan is I think in a week, which was around August 21st or August 22nd, which August 21st is my birthday.
Hey,
So
shout
I
out.
got
That's
that
what's up.
revolutionary spirit.
Yeah.
But what their plan was they were going to get together and start burning down a lot of these plantations in mass. So that's exactly what they did. So after the voodoo ceremony, they started running through and burning down plantations.
Wow.
And attacking plantations, and they were fucking them people up. Like,
Wow.
they a lot of the white people, the slave masters, the French slave masters, started fleeing, and they went to the capital of Saint Domingue, which at the time was Cap Francais, which today is called Cap Haitian.
Yeah. Haitian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That town back then was called Cap Francais,
Wow.
which was their capital. So they ran to their capital.
They changed it from Cap Francais to Cap Haitian. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly. So they run to their capital, and they're burning everything down. And Boukman tries to attack them while they're at the capital, but ends up getting captured. And they decapitated Boukman and put his head on a spike in front of the town to try to deter people from, rebelling anymore. And just like with Mackandal, where when they tried to burn him, they were like, nah, like, we not discouraged. Like, this is charging us up. It was the same with Boukman, where they said people will walk by the head and touch it and be like, don't worry, we gonna like, you know what I mean? And which is, so what
Wow.
somebody explained to me was one of the reasons why they even tried to put down the voodoo spirituality is because they don't believe that they actually die. So if you don't believe you actually die, you're not afraid to die or afraid to attack. So when they see Boukman, they're just like, okay, we're just gonna carry on because you're not really dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that whole ordeal really spurred the Haitian Revolution, because one of the people who was a part of those maroon camps was Toussaint Louverture.
Oh, wow.
While Boukman was putting all this together.
Wow.
He was at a low status at that point, though. He was just like a healer. He would help, like with the wounded, and he was teaching people how to fight and stuff. So Toussaint was actually born into slavery, and he was freed by his slave masters. They actually taught him how to read. They like treated him well.
Wow.
As well as you can be treated in
as
slavery.
A slave. Yeah, right.
So he would, with him being educated, that would, that's how he would, be able to train people and teach people things.
Right.
And after Boukman got captured, the Maroons started dealing with the Spanish because they needed weapons, and the Spanish was like, of course we'll give you weapons to defeat the French, because I'm sure in the Spanish side,
they're like, we're not even fucking with the French in the first place.
And they're probably thinking, if you fight for us, we get to take over the island, and we'll make slavery illegal or whatever, and we'll take back over.
Wow.
So what happens is, well, I don't know if that's exactly true, but I just know the Spanish were helping them out. They probably wanted to just take back over the island. So they get weapons from the Spanish, and that's when Toussaint really starts coming into his own, because he starts training people and then moving up in rank, and then starts defeating a lot of the French. And he's taken over territories for the Spanish. Like, he's really really running through the French. So he starts rising up and becomes a leader.
Wow.
And he has his generals that are also rising up along with him, in Jean-Jacques Dessaline and Henry Christophe.
Wow.
And I'm trying to remember what the name of Regaud was. Was a mulatto who was fighting with him, who was also rising in rank. So what ends up happening is, this was like from 1791 going forward.
Yeah.
So remember, the French Revolution starts happening around that time.
Yeah.
And in 1792, the French got their independence the French killed their monarchy and created the French Republic.
Right.
So what they decided was, okay, we got to get whatever's going on in Saint-Domingue, we got to handle that. Like, we got to get it under control. So instead of sending fighters, they sent a commissioner to go talk and try to deal peacefully with them. And this guy's name was Sonthonax. And Sonthonax was like, all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to abolish slavery. How about that? And they were like, yeah. So Sonthonax was like, all right, so you guys come fight on the French side, and, we'll abolish slavery. So Toussaint starts fighting under the French army.
Wow.
And all the territories that he took for the Spanish, he took them back for the French. It just started fucking them up the opposite way, and just got all the territories back for the French.
Wow.
So this is how brilliant of
you got to be good as hell to like
Right.
defeat them there and then go back and do it again.
Right.
Like
So
that's
so
crazy.
him and Ragad, I think that's how you say his name, and Dessaline are like rising in the French ranks,
Mm-hmm.
and Toussaint becomes a general in the French army, and I think he's the first black general
Wow.
of the French army. That's how well he was doing.
Wow.
So I'm pretty much skipping around a lot because there's just so much to cover.
Yeah.
But eventually, him and Regard, who is the mulatto general,
Mm-hmm.
they have a little civil war,
Mm-hmm.
which was spurred on by the French.
Oh wow.
Because but this was like later in the like 1790s, where the what's his name, Napoleon starts
Yeah.
coming into power, and
Mm-hmm.
he starts like putting them against each other, and they have what's called the War of Knives.
Wow.
And Toussaint pretty much wins that war too, against Regard. And so then what happens is Toussaint pretty much sends Sonthonax and all the other French commissioners and governors back to France, and was like, a black colony should be governed by black people. And he calls himself governor for
Wow.
life.
Wow.
Pretty much. He like so he sends Sonthonax and all of them back, and even though he was still friendly with the French, like he would go to France, and he still wanted to have, he was very diplomatic, like he would, he was like a politician.
I
So
see.
even though he could, if he had to war with you, like he'll go to war and fight with you, but if he can like use diplomacy, he'll use diplomacy.
I see.
So to skip ahead a little bit, Toussaint pretty much, it's like I said, he calls himself governor of Saint Domingue for life.
Wow.
Like I rule until I die, pretty
Wow.
much. And he writes a constitution, because by that time Napoleon got into power, and Napoleon didn't write a constitution for Saint Domingue. He just had them under a decree, like whatever I say, pretty much that's what the law is going to be for the colony. So then Toussaint was like, okay, well, here's what I want. And he writes up a constitution, sends it to Napoleon. And Napoleon was like, oh, y'all think y'all just going to be writing constitutions and running shit on your own? Nah. Like, I got to get back control of the colony.
Yeah.
And remember, a lot of these people were fighting so hard for the colony because it was one of the most successful colonies. So you don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
And so pretty much Napoleon sends his army down there to fight against Toussaint. And he sends his brother-in-law Leclerc, which Christophe, there's a good story about them, which Christophe actually saw Leclerc coming, and he actually told all the people in the town to burn the town down and go into the interior. So Leclerc was pretty much like, oh, if you guys don't surrender now, we're gonna come and raid your shit. And he was like, all right. Excuse me. He was like, all right. So Christophe even burnt down his own mansion, and they burnt down the whole rest of the town, and then went into the interior, because their stronghold, their strength was in the interior of the island and not on the shores, because they didn't have a navy. They didn't have a lot of ships and stuff. They were more land-based. So just to let y'all know, like, these people were not fucking around.
Yeah.
So
Very smart.
So that's when you get Rochambeau, who is also sent there by Napoleon. Now, we all have probably heard of Rochambeau, and probably in a good light. But this dude was really harsh against black people.
Wow.
Like,
Never heard of Rochambeau.
well, I
Wow.
know he's brought up because I think he helped in the Revolutionary War and stuff like that. So Rochambeau was really harsh against black people. Like he was there to wreak havoc on the black people, and harshly. Pretty much Napoleon's idea was he wanted to get rid of Toussaint and them. He literally was quoted saying, "I want to stop the march of the blacks."
Wow.
And so he didn't want black people to progress. Napoleon wanted them to be under his thumb and pretty much reinstate slavery.
Wow.
Because remember, when the French Republic got there, they abolished slavery. And there were still colonists, there were still plantation owners on the island, who didn't like that.
Yeah.
And at first, they went to Great Britain to try to come fight Toussaint and them, because they was like, please, like, come help us reinstate slavery. And the British was like, yeah, sure. But then Toussaint whooped their ass too.
Damn.
So, but then after that, Napoleon was trying to also reinstate slavery.
Yeah.
So Napoleon sends Rochambeau, and Rochambeau was like really harsh. And actually before then Toussaint actually gets captured by Napoleon. So Toussaint, I forgot how he gets captured, but like I said, like he really was diplomatic. So I think it was something where they told him to meet with him, and then Napoleon captured him, and they sent him to a prison in the France mountains, where he died.
Wow.
So he actually never got to see Haiti become independent.
Wow.
He died before then.
But he's revered as the person that brought us out.
Well, because he started it.
Wow.
But
then it technically started.
Yeah, and technically didn't start it. He just did so many great things.
He did so many great things. He got the credit.
But it was also like a whitewashing thing, because remember, he's very diplomatic. So the person I'm about to talk about was not diplomatic.
Oh, wow.
Dessaline.
Dessaline. Dessaline, yep.
Dessaline.
Yep.
He was not diplomatic.
Wow.
So you had Rochambeau fighting against Dessaline, and Rochambeau would do stuff like, when he first got there, he drowned 500 Haitian people off the shore. So you know what Dessaline did? Oh, okay, you want to do that? I'm going to hang 500 French soldiers. So they were going tit for tat. Like, if Rochambeau would do something crazy to black people, Dessaline would do something crazy to the white people.
Wow.
So, but the thing is, Dessaline wasn't just like this crazy tyrant. He was actually a very smart military man.
Yeah.
And ends up beating the French army in 1804.
Wow.
Or in 1803, really. Like the end of 1803.
Yeah.
Ends up defeating the French. And pretty much he says, y'all got to go. He kicks all the French out of Haiti, including Rochambeau. He was like, yeah, you can go. Go back to France.
Go back to France, buddy.
Yeah. And that's when you get to January 1st, 1804. Jean-Jacques Dessaline and his army defeat the French and create the first free black country. The first successful slave revolt ever. So a lot of people call Dessaline a tyrant because of the things that he did.
Yeah.
And now Dessaline was different from Toussaint, because Toussaint had slave masters that treated him well. They were like family to him.
Yeah.
Dessaline did not have that. He was on a plantation where he was worked hard, and he had a lot of whip marks on his back and everything, and he would show it.
Wow.
So he wasn't as forgiving with white people. And so after he told the French and everybody to go home, some of them decided they wanted to stay, because they thought like, nah, they'll still let us stay here and keep our plantations and all that. He said, nah, we're not doing that. So he went and pretty much massacred all the French people that decided to stay.
Coupe tête. Yeah, it was something called coupe tête, something else, but pretty much saying like every white person you see cut their heads off and burn their house.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's what he did.
Yeah, coupe tête boule kai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he destroyed them. Like he massacred them.
Wow.
So they so after pretty much after and that's the thing. I think there somebody said this story about in Brooklyn, Nostrand Ave, they were gonna like turn a part of it into Jean-Jacques Dessaline Avenue.
Wow.
But then a bunch of people came out being like, oh, he was a tyrant. He wanted to he committed genocide against white people, so we can't name that after a genocidist. And it's like, oh, word, because all of the streets and stuff y'all have named after Confederate soldiers and slave masters
Genocide.
and all that. All right.
There's
But
so much genocide already.
he wasn't a genocidist. He just did that to the French because
Right.
remember when I was telling you earlier, there were Polish people and German people
Yeah.
and Americans
Yeah. Wow.
and British that were
Wow.
still on the island that he did
Wow.
not kill.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, the Polish that helped him in the battle
Yeah.
against the French that stayed there, he said y'all could stay.
Y'all was good. Wow.
And they to this day there is a Polish town called Kazal
Yeah.
in Haiti
Wow.
where the Polish people pretty much mixed with the black people,
Yeah.
and he even called them black. He said, now that y'all are Haitian citizens, all Haitian citizens are black.
Wow.
So he called the Polish black people because he was like, y'all helped us out. So he wasn't a genocidist and he didn't hate white people. He just wanted the French to not try to get their sticky fingers back into the Haitian government.
Right.
Which happened anyways.
Mm.
So you got January 1st, 1804,
Yeah.
which is New Year to everybody else, but Independence Day to Haitians. And
Right.
earlier we talked about eating soup jumeau.
Yeah.
That actually comes from Dessaline's wife,
Wow. Okay.
because once they got the independence, she said, everybody, we should celebrate by eating soup jumeau. It was a soup that was only enjoyed by the rich white people, the rich French people
Oh wow.
in Haiti. So she was like, now we're gonna enjoy it
Wow.
as our celebration of defeating them.
Wow.
So that's why we eat soup jumeau
Wow.
January 1st.
So it's originally a French thing.
Well, it was a Haitian dish, but I don't know. It's 'cause it's squash soup. So I think I don't know if it was created in France or created in Haiti, but I just know that it was a thing that they made specifically for the slave masters, and nobody else could eat it but them.
Wow.
So also the Haitian flag,
Mm-hmm.
I think the beginnings of the Haitian flag was after they won the battle in 1803.
Right.
They took a French flag and they ripped the white part out the middle of it.
Wow.
And Dessaline had his daughter or his niece sew the red and blue parts together.
Wow. Wow.
And that's how we got the Haitian flag.
Wow.
Well, it was vertical at first. It was the
Yeah.
red and blue, like left and right.
Mm-hmm.
But then they, eventually it got turned to
it
the
like
other way.
morphed like probably like I think like 8 times before we have the flag that we have now today.
Oh yeah. So like also so earlier, like I was saying, like I wanted to talk about before Christopher Columbus, because usually people start with Christopher Columbus.
Right.
So the same with the revolution. I want to go a little bit after, because most people end after the revolution.
Yeah.
But there was so much
And
shit
the slavery keeps going.
Exactly.
Because now we have the mental.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest issues that Haiti always had, and even has to this day, is between the mulattoes and the blacks.
Mm-hmm. And that's what the flag represents too. Like
Yeah.
the blue side, I believe, is the black side, and the red side is the mulatto side.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about the merging of the two.
Right. So when Dessaline become when Haiti becomes its own independent nation, he names the country Haiti
Mm-hmm.
after the natives,
Yeah.
because I think some of the natives were still in the mountains,
Mm.
and some of them, of course, helped fight during the revolution. So he was like, as an homage to the people who first lived here,
Yeah.
we're gonna call our country Haiti.
Yeah.
And he creates an empire. So he doesn't have like a republic. He named it the Empire of Haiti. And actually, I think the people wanted him to be an emperor, because I think Napoleon was becoming emperor, and they were like, oh, you gotta oppose Napoleon, so be emperor. And he created the empire, but the flag he had was a black and red flag.
Wow.
It wasn't the blue
Yeah.
and red. It was black and red at first. But his reign was short-lived because they assassinated him in 1806.
Wow.
The mulattoes just didn't like some of the things he was doing, where he was confiscating all the land pretty much that was owned by the slave masters, and he was going to redistribute it to people and have people go back and work on the plantations after the war, because they still needed an economy, but they were going to get paid for it.
Right.
And some of the people were even going to be able to own the land.
Right.
But the mulattoes were like, well, that's the land that my father owned. And it was like, yo, white father?
Right.
The ones we just kicked out? So then he was like, all right, if they own the land, then show me the deeds.
Wow.
Show me the titles. They had none. So then, and then he
Wow.
also said, because they were all complaining that was their father's land. So then he said, what about the people whose fathers were born in Africa? Will they have nothing?
Wow.
So this is the type of time he was on. He wasn't just being a tyrant. He just knew, I have to get order in a specific way, because if not, then this whole structure is just going to crumble.
Yeah.
And the mulattoes are still trying to uphold the structure that they were born under, when you don't have to. They want to still be seen as above, because that's the importance that white people put on those, like being white.
Yeah.
Oh, whoever was closer to white was more important. So mulattoes really tried to strive for that when they were in slavery. But now they don't have to, but they still are mentally there. So pretty much they didn't like the things he were doing. And he even because Dessaline was like, y'all not white, you black. Like every Haitian citizen is black, including you mulattoes. Y'all are black. And they were like, I mean, kinda. Like, like
right.
when it's like, no, nigga, you black. Like, I know that their structure that they implemented in you was that you're not fully black, and the closer you are to white, the more important you are. But it's not the case, and you're black. So let's just stick with that. But they didn't like it, so they assassinated him.
Wow.
And then his second in command was Henry Christophe.
Yeah.
So Henry Christophe and the mulattoes like met because they didn't want to start like another war, even though they kind of were like against each other, but they met. And in the south they had this guy Hatian, who was a mulatto, and the mulattoes pretty much had control of the south, and the north was Christophe. And they came to him and was just like, let's create a republic, you can be president, we'll have a parliament, we'll have this, we'll have that, and the people can vote and whatnot. And Christophe saw the situation and was like, oh, if I do this, then I'll have no power. The power will go all to the mulattoes. So they were trying to pretty much just have him be the face for the blacks, while behind the scenes control everything, which is pretty much how it's set up today. But he said no, went back to the north and created the kingdom of Haiti and became a king. And so he was King Henry Christophe. And Christophe actually did a lot of cool things, like minting their own currency that was backed by gold.
Oh, wow.
He created. Have you ever seen the Citadel
The
in
Citadel?
Haiti?
You Are you
gotta.
talking about the
It's
palace?
the fortress that's on top of the mountain.
Oh no! Wow!
You gotta. It's an amazing, beautiful fort that he built,
Wow!
and it's the biggest. I think it's the biggest one in the Western Hemisphere.
Wow!
And then you had the Palace Sanssouci, which is what you're talking about, which is the palace that Christophe created, which Sanssouci means no worries
Wow!
in French.
Yeah!
So,
Wow!
pretty much Christophe did a lot of great things, but he ended up having a stroke that paralyzed him, and in like around 1820, I think is what it was.
Oh wow!
So the people in the South saw that as like a chance to attack, and they attacked him. And I mean, it was pretty much no contest. They controlled everything, and Christophe committed suicide on October 8th, 1820, which is the same day that Dessaline appointed himself emperor. He killed himself on the same day.
Wow!
So now you have the Haitian Republic, which is where you get the red and blue flag.
Yeah.
Where it was Pétion who was in control of the South, but he had died before Christophe died in 1818. Wow. So by then,
I think they made a city after Pétion, called Pétionville.
Exactly.
Wow.
So, and that's in the South. I think it's close to Port-au-Prince.
Yeah, it is.
So,
I feel like it's in Port-au-Prince, and it's like one of the cities, like Cafu and other stuff like that are in Port-au-Prince and stuff.
Yeah. See, like I gotta go to Haiti, man.
But I went one time.
But then, so his successor was this guy named Boyer, who was also a mulatto, and he is where we get the debt that we had to pay to France.
Wow, he agreed to do it, huh?
Yeah, so Boyer. So listen, like a lot of these people really did a lot of good things too. So even with Christophe and Dessaline, like they actually helped a lot of slave revolts in South America and other places.
Right, yeah.
Boyer actually, the Greece were under the Ottoman, were being oppressed by the Ottomans. And Greece actually reached out to Haiti to help them. Wow. And Boyer didn't have a lot of resources at the time because he just took over the kingdom that Christophe had, and he actually united the Dominican side and Haiti side to be one. Wow. So he had, and the Dominican side at the time was poor. So he just had these two countries to deal with. Yeah. So he wasn't even really able to send them military aid, but he sent them like a bunch of tons of coffee so that they could sell it and get money to, help fight against the Ottomans. Dope. So Boyer, the French pretty much came to Boyer. I don't know if he went to the French or the French came to him, but pretty much France didn't recognize Haiti as a country, and America didn't recognize Haiti, and other countries didn't recognize Haiti as a sovereign nation. Yeah. And the French came to him and was like, listen, we'll recognize you as a country if you pay us reparations for all the slaves that we lost and the land that we lost in the revolution. Wow. And that, as ridiculous as that sounds, like,
and this is years after the revolution.
This is around 1820s. This was 1825. Wow. So the revolution was in they got their independence in 1804. Yeah. So this is 1805 by this point.
1825.
That's what'd I say?
1805.
Oh, my bad. 1825.
Yeah.
So Boyer pretty much agreed. And what they wanted was 150 million French francs from Haiti. Well, at first I think they wanted like 170, but they went down to 150, which in today's money is $30 billion.
That's absolutely crazy.
$30 billion. So Haiti at the time was not doing that well economically. Now Christophe under his kingdom, he did a lot of great things and made a lot of money. And like his economy was actually thriving because, like we said, he minted his own currency that was backed by gold, and even helped other countries mint their own currency in South America because they saw what he was doing and they asked him for help. And as a matter of fact, France came to Christophe with that same offer, which is to pay us reparations and we'll recognize you as a country. But Christophe sent their messenger back to France in a body bag. And pretty much was like, there's your answer. But Boyer, he agreed. And that pretty much set Haiti all the way back.
Yeah.
All the way back. Because they couldn't just pay them $150 million at that time. They still got to run the economy. They still got to, do all these other things and build their country too. Yeah. So what they did was started taking loans from French banks with high interest rates. So imagine that, like you're paying the French government.
Wow. And
you got to pull loans from their banks with high interest rates. So you're paying more than that. Wow. 150 million.
Yeah, you're paying so much more than that.
So not only did they borrow from the French, they also borrowed from America and other countries too. So that debt, Haiti didn't finish paying off until 1947, I think. 1947.
It's 100 plus years.
Exactly. And I think we had to pay the last bit of the debt off to America because we borrowed a lot from America.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, and there's a lot that happens between 1825 and 1915, which is in the year 1915, America occupied Haiti.
Wow. Yeah.
But, I just can't get into all of that. We'll just be talking forever. But, just so you know, between that time, there were 20-something presidents. And I think 20 of them got assassinated or overthrown. And 2 did not. So, that just lets you know the hell that was going on between those times.
It's like, you want to be president in Haiti?
Boy.
Are you okay with possibly being assassinated one day?
Possibly being murdered.
Right. But that's any position of power in this world that you're trying to make a difference in, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's
crazy.
There's so much more. I could even talk about the occupation, but we've been talking for so long. I just
the occupation of what?
Of Haiti, America occupying.
Oh yeah, wow, yeah.
Just know that America did us dirty.
Yeah.
And people wonder why countries like Haiti are in the state they're in today, and they're just these countries can't govern themselves, or these are just shithole countries, or these are whatever. But it wasn't if y'all would have just left Haiti alone, we could have done whatever. How does it go from being the #1 colony in the Western Hemisphere to the way it is today? You telling me that the Haitian people can't capitalize off of their own resources and become a rich nation? Even the meddling that America is doing today is because they have a lot of resources in Haiti, which they even people even think they found oil over there in Haiti.
Wow.
So you can't let Haiti capitalize off of it and try to. And the crazy thing is, the Haiti has been so destabilized throughout the years that we don't even have the resources and infrastructure to go and get that oil ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we would have to rely on somebody else to help us out a bit.
Yeah. But
they do this all over the Caribbean, all in Africa. They just destabilize all these countries to where they have.
It's almost impossible to rebuild.
Exactly, and then allows foreign countries to come in and say, "Oh, well, we'll just help you out." You know what I mean? And then we exploit them.
And I will say the natural disasters do not play a good part.
Right, on top of that.
On top of, trying to, stabilize. Now you have, a country that went through. So we had that crazy earthquake in 2010.
Yeah,
But we don't
exactly.
talk about the amount of earthquakes that happened since that earthquake. I think there was like 2 more earthquakes that happened in Haiti that were really crazy, that killed a lot of people.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, if America and all these countries that do all their meddling in Haiti
Mm-hmm.
actually built the country up, like, why is it so difficult to just build structures that can withstand earthquakes? There's a lot of earthquakes that happen in California.
Right.
You don't see the earth splitting open
Yeah.
and their buildings just crumbling down over there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I mean, I'm not saying we can just build like earthquake proof like buildings that will never fall down from an earthquake, but
Right.
there's structures that we know how to build that
Yeah.
can at least withstand more damage. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, they just
Yeah.
don't do that. They sent all this money for Red Cross and for all of the hurricane relief and earthquake relief in Haiti, billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Billions of dollars.
Wow.
And where has all that gone? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on in Haiti? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, even with the situation with the rice in Haiti, like,
Wow, I haven't heard of that situation.
like it's like, some people call it plastic rice, but Haiti used to grow their own rice. But I think during the Clinton administration, like, America like did some policies over there where they started getting their rice from here in Arkansas,
Oh, wow.
and that rice is fucking them up, not only physically but even their economy, because they could just be making money off their own rice.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And that's on top of that, the people on the inside now too. It's just a lot of corrupt government.
Exactly.
So
man.
much corrupt government. Recently having, back in 2021,
Yeah.
president just got assassinated.
What's his name again? Javanel?
Something Moise.
Oh, Moise. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, man, but I definitely think some people in Haiti are corrupt, but I think that a lot of these people are just propped up by other nations like America, because once again, if you can keep the country destabilized, then you can keep control. If we're always fighting, then we can never focus on building.
Yeah.
And then other countries can just come along, buy up land, create businesses,
Mm-hmm.
hire these people and pay them the lowest wages possible, and
Yep.
pretty much make slavery over again.
Yep.
Which is what is happening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but this is why it's important. I think that we need to know
The Haitian history.
the Haitian history, man.
So you
Like,
don't just see what is presented to you, because you
Right,
go on
man.
Google and type in Haiti, and they'll give you a whole bunch of facts, a whole bunch of crazy facts, and it's like, it's poorest country on the Western Hemisphere, all these things going on and stuff like that. But why? Where
Right.
did it come from?
Exactly.
How did we get here? It just
Because how do you go from being called the pearl of the Antilles
the
to the
pearl.
poorest country?
Yeah.
It just don't make
And
sense.
a lot of people
bro.
don't even know about that pearl of the Antilles. I this is my first time here, being a Haitian, hearing about being the pearl of Antilles. I do remember hearing Haiti just being on top at one point.
Yeah.
But we're not necessarily fed this story, and that's what I was talking about in the beginning. Like, I learned about Haiti in school, but I didn't learn this.
Exactly.
I learned that we were the first black, republic to, gain our independence and be sovereign out of a whole bunch of other people. I heard that a lot of Haitians came and helped during the Civil War and the
Mhm.
Revolutionary War. They taught us that, and that's pretty much it.
Right.
Just the revolution. They're not gonna give us
Because even
Yeah,
I
the
didn't
history.
I didn't learn that in school, but even what I did learn on my own, like in the beginning,
Yeah.
it was just that part. Like,
Yeah.
oh, the they were the first black sovereign nation, and
Yeah.
you know, that's it. Pretty much that was all I learned about it. And I used to be proud of that. I still am. Like,
Yeah.
be like, oh yeah, we were the first,
Yeah.
successful slave revolt. And then that was all I know. And
Right.
and then the only figurehead that I knew of was Toussaint.
Right. Same.
And that was it.
They taught you about Toussaint, and that was it.
Right. Oh, and another interesting thing about like the culture. So like in the voodoo culture or in most other spiritual cultures, like a lot of the legbas or the spirits are just like they I don't think they necessarily believe that like they're actual deities but just representations.
Yeah.
So some people think that Toussaint represents I think Legba, who was like the opener or like the leader of the roadways and the opener of doors. And Dessaline was the Ogun.
The Ogun.
Yeah, Ogun.
Yeah.
Who is someone who gets things done. Like, so as a matter of fact, I think Louverture means the opening.
Oh wow. Yeah, it does. To ouvrir.
Yeah.
Louverture, port or something like that.
Right.
That is crazy. That's
so
crazy.
Louverture, and he changed his name to Louverture. I don't think his name was originally Louverture. He changed his name to Louverture, which means the opening. So if he was a Legba, which would be someone who opens the door, then he opened the door for Dessaline, who was the one who came in and actually led everyone, got things done, and led them into independence.
Wow.
Because like you said earlier, Toussaint is the one who gets credited with leading them into independence, but Dessaline did. Toussaint died before then.
Wow.
But we know why.
Yeah.
With hearing the stories of Dessaline. But I really encourage, especially if you're black.
Yeah.
And especially if you're Haitian or have Haitian family members or friends, like, I encourage you to just do you don't even got to do a super deep dive, just a minimal dive, like on Haitian history, because it is fascinating. Like, and it, like I said, we learn about the American Revolution and the French Revolution and all the things that go on with them. But when it comes to the Haitian Revolution, which happened at the exact same time as these
all
things,
of them, that's
we
crazy.
Hear absolutely nothing.
Nada. We helped 17. How many countries did America help gain their independence? How many countries did French help gain their independence?
Bro, we helped 17. As a matter of fact, the Venezuelan flag, there's the tri-colored flag of Venezuela, Colombia, and Ecuador. I think it was Ecuador.
And there's a couple more too.
Was created in Haiti.
Yep, they took the red and blue from ours and then stitched it on. They got like, I think maybe like 8 or 9 countries that have the red and blue in their flag based off of, because we helped them.
Right.
And it's just like, bruh.
So we're all up and through the history of the world, not just Haiti.
Yeah.
So like we've helped out people and we've helped change some things. But hopefully this camera's still running.
Right.
And we got all that, because I'm gonna be mad if we didn't.
Right.
But, I think I'm gonna end it here because we've been going for a minute.
Okay.
And I know I'm gonna have to chop it down a little bit. But
hey man.
Yeah, so hopefully I could get
you
this out. You
gotta keep the uncut version somewhere for some of these people to get the whole entire
true.
Thing, man. Cause
that's true. I mean, I'm not gonna chop it up too much, just a little bit, just so you know.
Okay.
But if y'all enjoyed this, just share. If anything, I want you to just do it. Get up on some Haitian history. Yeah. Talk to some Haitian people. Yeah. And listen to some Konpa music is amazing, bro.
We even get into Konpa. Like, this is, to be honest, Haiti is like, it got to be a series.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm probably gonna be throughout the podcast just talking about Haiti, but y'all gotta listen to some Konpa, man. Y'all gotta you know,
Get some bun on pez
get
and
some
pickles.
bun on now
Oh
I'm
my-
hungry. God damn. Get some bun on peze, some
Some col-
jus sauce pois.
Yo, some cola champagne.
Yeah.
Some
Damn, what's that one drink?
cremas.
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 Get you some cremas, you know, like all of that.
Yeah.
And I definitely am getting deeper into my Haitian culture. Like I said, my mom was a second generation, so she's like been more Americanized.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these things I'm learning on my own, and just
Yeah.
talking to other family members and really trying to get a deeper connection with that.
Yeah.
I am also part Dominican, so
Wow.
I have the whole island.
You're the whole island right now.
Yeah,
You're
like,
just Hispaniola, man.
That's it. I'm Hispaniolian. I'm Haitian because the island name was Haiti.
Wow.
The name was Haiti. I am Haitian. Okay.
He said, "I'm Haitian at first."
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
But anyway, yeah, man. Oh, tell them about what you got going on. Tell them
Oh.
about all my friends. Tell them about like.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yes. I do a show with my wife called All My Friends. Yeah. Shout out to wives and what I'm saying, marriage out there. Don't believe the hype is dope. But
Exactly.
we do this show. We started it when we were homeless. We were sleeping in the car for about 3 months, and we were trying to figure out like what to attach this energy of like what we wanted to do with our lives, period, and what we wanted to do, like, period. And it was music. But it wasn't just music. We wanted to be able to change the world with music. We wanted to be able to just help people figure out their life's purpose. And music was music was a conduit to where we can help people. It didn't. Oh no. But music. Should I keep going?
Yeah, because we got the audio.
Oh right. Hey, lit.
What I'll do is let me see what I can do.
Gotcha. But yeah, music is just a conduit to get there. And yeah, so ever since we started that, it was first called All My Friends ATL, and it started off more like a jam session, and like people were like like sometimes performing and stuff like that. And then or actually more of a jam session / open mic, and then it started turning into more of like an organized show, and then it turned into a variety show at the top of 2021. And then we started doing community cleanups. We started doing workshops, like financial literacy workshops, dance workshops, and things like that. Then we started doing rap competitions. And then we did a DJ competition one time. We had a poetry night.
Yeah, lots of dope things going on.
Lots of dope things. And currently we're working on an album
Fire.
with all the featured artists that we've had since 2019 when we started the show. So
Dopeness.
yes. Tap in with us. We're on Instagram at All My Friends Global.
All My Friends Global. What's your personal Instagram?
My personal Instagram is King Cojo _.
Bet. So yeah, like he said, man, they do some beautiful things. I've featured in All My Friends before. I've even just played bass for them.
Yep.
I've even been an audience member. All the vibes.
Yeah.
I've I try to bring people on that really pique my interest, of things that I enjoy. So yeah, if y'all like anything I recommend, or y'all feel like I got good taste or anything like that, so just know, if y'all are in the Atlanta area, just check them out. Check out his page, like he said.
Hey.
And this has been the very first UnParishable podcast, the return of my podcast.
Hey, is it official?
It's official. This is technically like my third podcast, because I used to do one with one of my homies, like all the way back in like 2016. He's the one who kind of put me on the podcasting.
Before podcasting was popular.
Exactly. And then I did one with my brother, and which is like 10 episodes. I'm still going to keep those episodes up. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about just like turning that page into the UnParishable podcast page,
Oh, wow.
so y'all can still just go see all the older ones at
Yeah.
the same time. And yeah, man, listen, I hope y'all enjoyed this, man. I hope y'all
I did.
learned something. I hope y'all get, it sparks your mind. It puts a fire under you. It warms your heart. It, makes you want to go get some Haitian food, because it made me. And, y'all, go out there, give a Haitian person a hug.
Please.
And tell them how important, they are. And how important go tell the world how important the Haitian history is. And of course, all over the world, everybody has important history going on all over.
Yeah.
But this is just another part that I
Yeah.
feel like is very important, especially to the Black community. And
Yeah.
I will be teaching my son about this, and
Yes, sir.
all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
I'll put some resources also up wherever you're going to be listening or watching this, more than likely just on YouTube, but I'll also try to get it on Spotify and other places. So I'll put resources to all the stuff that I've listened to and watched and read. And anyways, yeah, peace out.